All right, guys, I'm going to do a quick video for you talking about some quick tips for drawing and digital art in general. So first tip I would recommend is having a sketchbook. So I'm just going to write it down here. Um, so one thing I recommend to students, let me kiwi bird a little bit smaller over here. Um, whenever I recommend to students in person is to get a sketchbook. Now it's like a low risk set of 100 pages. You know, you can get nice paper, but I would honestly preferably you get cheap paper. But the thing about digital art is that your canvas is infinite. And what I recommend is having a file like this. I just called it Sketchbook, and what I have here is a bunch of layers of a bunch of different drawings, and each layer is like a page in a sketchbook. So if you guys could see, if I'll start all the way down here, here I was practicing muscles, like figure drawings with this guy. Here this is one of my characters, and you can just see that it's just a bunch of sketches. This is another character. And the thing about digital sketchbook is that, yeah, if you like one of your sketches, you can really flesh it out and, you know, color things if you want to, but you really don't have to. It's all about just having um, no plan, or, you know, a little bit of a plan, like focusing on what you want to do, or if you have artist block, just getting your hand moving. Um, so I don't know what I was doing here. It was some kind of background. Here's a bunch more characters that I was doing, and another character that I did. This one is on my portfolio now. This is another male character that I was doing, just kind of designing him. And yeah, so having a sketchbook like this is just really important, I think. Very useful. And on this one, I was just doing a bunch of like OC. Here, I drew a couple feet. That was good exercise. More characters, something like this. So that would be my first tip. And then here I have this uh, reference here, draw from life. And I know every art teacher will say this, draw from life. And this is of utter importance that you are using some kind of reference. Um, and I do want to talk about, you know, the two types of art here. So there's representational art. And representational means it just represents something. The root word being present, that the world, the universe presents something to your eyes, and you represent it. You regurgitate it. And that's what representational art is. And the next one is abstract art. This doesn't just mean, you know, paint splashes or some red canvas, you know, put up in an abstract art museum, modern art museum. No, abstract just means it deviates. Your brain, when regurgitating the information, it deviates from the original thing. So representational, if I was to draw, for example, a person, you know, this guy here, I have him as a reference on my page, and, you know, I would start, you know, trying to get the angles in, and this is getting his shoulders, and, you know, just doing something like this where I'm just really trying hard to capture the angles that I see. And this takes a lot of eye training and a lot of practice. And when you draw from life, this is the kind of stuff you're going to be practicing. You're going to be measuring with your eyes. You're going to be making comparisons all the time, stuff like that. But if I were to draw things abstractly, it just means let's pretend I'm a little kid here. So I see a guy with a hat, and he has a chin here, and he has a hand here, and I'm not looking at measuring things, but I see his shoulder is here, and I see that his arms going this way, and it's kind of representational, but it's more of an abstraction. I'm kind of just putting the general positions of things and drawing them as my mind reconstructs them. So if I were to take out this reference here real quick, well, let me get rid of this reference here, and I were to try to redraw this guy from memory. Let's actually delete this real quick. If I were to redraw this guy from memory, this is what abstract art is all about. It's like I have an idea in my head, and I'm gonna try to remake him based on what I remember. And that this is abstract art. It's an abstraction because it's not exactly representational because I'm not really trying to. I mean, it's part of it is representational in the sense that it is a guy I just saw, but it's an abstraction in the sense that my brain is regurgitating it. So that's kind of the idea between the two. When you draw from life, you want to practice representational art as much as you can, so that you understand like the language of uh, the values, the strokes that you use, like all the process of input and output is going to be practiced when you're doing representational art. Abstract art is what children do, and they can do it, and it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, um, because again, your brain is regurgitating. But the more you do representational art, the more you will build your memory and your visual library, so that your abstract art is going to become more and more accurate, or you can play with a varying degree of accuracy and make things as abstract as you want them to be. So if I go back here, let's go back to before I deleted that. And I'll bring this guy back. Whoops. So this is a program called PureRef. It's a really good program for references on screen. Recommended to me by a friend, and I love using it. Um, Honestly, these are really the two things that you can kind of just do over and over, and you will probably get decently good at drawing. Um, and also, the last thing I guess would be focus on interests. You want to draw things that you're interested in drawing, otherwise it's not going to be fun. Like you could, if your goal is I'm going to be the goat at drawing and I'm going to draw 1,000 hands, 1,000 faces, I'm going to do 1,000 cylinders and pyramids and cubes and spheres just to practice those fundamentals, fine. That's what if that's interesting to you, then that's good. If you want to draw, there was this interesting artist on Twitter I used to follow, who draw uh, uh, anime girls in maid outfits doing skateboarding tricks, and that was his thing. It was just anime maid girls doing skateboard tricks, and that's interesting to him. Maybe he likes anime maid girls and he likes skateboarding. Um, for me, my interests are shifting. I'm kind of getting more into religious art now, so I'm going to be doing some of that. But this is what will keep the process interesting because if you're only focused on building fundamentals, what are you going to do with it? Ultimately, art is fun because you get to express yourself, you get to send a message, and you can get into this whole Bruce Lee philosophy thing where art is basically anything you do where your mind is taking in information and then you express yourself. So for Bruce Lee, martial arts was self-expression, and art in general. Like some people say, surgery is an art or cooking is an art. Well, yeah, you take all that experience and all that information, you try to make something new from it, something creative or something precise and perfect. Um, it's that regurgitation, it's the input and output. The output is your art. And that can really mean a lot of things. For drawing, it's pretty clear that, the output is your art. Um, so those are like some basic tips, and yeah, happy drawing. If you guys have any other questions about any of the things you want me to talk about as an art teacher, I'm going to be leaning into this role more on YouTube and just really experimenting with different types of content as far as educating you guys on whatever. So thank you guys. I'll talk to you later. Love you all. Peace be with you. Bye bye.